Hey gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, and a new Gallup poll has the woke left absolutely panicked. They're actually starting to disappear from the face of the earth. That's true. According to Gallup, it really does look like we're seeing a significant shift towards conservatism in America, despite the best efforts by the legacy media, the Biden White House, and woke corporate America to promote a radical liberal agenda. According to Gallup's latest Values and Beliefs survey, conservatives now surpass liberals by a margin of 40 to 26% in terms of self-identification. Gallup's poll results indicate a noticeable conservative surge in comparison to the past 8 years, where Americans were basically evenly split between identifying as liberal or conservative. Specifically, when it comes to social issues such as abortion or LGBT and the like, 38% of respondents identify as conservative, 29% consider themselves liberal. A year ago, the split was even at 34%. So this is the highest level of social conservatism that we've seen in over a decade, since 2012. Now, interestingly, for those concerned about the creeping socialism that we've been seeing of late here, support for economic conservatism also saw a significant increase, where conservatives now hold a better than 2-to-1 advantage over liberals. So overall, Americans today, according to Gallup, identifies 40% conservative, 31% moderate, and 26% liberal. Now, this news is coming on the heels of a report from Politico that highlights the growing concern over young voters' decreasing identification as Democrats and the radical implications that has for Biden's reelection. John Della Volpe, a former pollster for Biden's 2020 campaign, has been sounding the alarm, emphasizing the need for immediate action to address a trend among young voters to basically abandon the Democrats. According to Della Volpe, voters under the age of 30 today are less likely to align themselves with the Democratic Party as compared to spring of 2019. Instead, more young voters now consider themselves independents, and fewer perceive politics as a meaningful avenue for creating change. So they're basically bowing out. Now you know why Biden is intent on getting you to pay for college student loans. You don't vote for him, but young people do, or at least they did, and that's the problem. As long as you're a reliable voting constituency, they don't care about you. Now, what's going on here? What's going on, at least in part, is precisely the kind of paradigm shift that we've been tracking with now for years. And we've been waiting for the polls to start reflecting this paradigm shift. And it seems to be happening. I talked about this a few days back. Back in February this year, a major survey found that Christian nationalism is surging in popularity among the American electorate. The survey found that 1 in 3 voters consider themselves Christian nationalists. 1 in 3. And then this study, we highlighted another study that found that the percentage of the population that believes that there are only 2 genders has been increasing exponentially over the last 2 years. And across the board, religious, non-religious, black, white, all age groups, especially young people. The percentage of Gen Zers who believe there are only 2 genders has increased from 43% in 2021 to an astonishing 60% today. Nearly 6 in 10 Gen Zers believe there are just 2 genders. So what's going on there? What accounts for all this? Well, first, if you're a patriot and you're not prepared to defend your home and your family, you need to click on that link below right now and visit our good friends over at Countrywide Concealed and get your concealed carry permit once and for all. All right. So if you're like me, you've been putting this off. You've always wanted to do it, right? You've always meant to do it, but you've been put off because of all the ridiculous barriers and requirements, the pain and the hassle of getting what's ironically our constitutional right. Well, guess what? There's now an amazing solution to all of that. Countrywide Concealed is the quickest and easiest way for you to get your permit. And the coolest thing is that the permit is good in the vast majority of states in the country. That's right. You won't just get a permit to conceal carry in your own state, but in 84% of the whole of the nation. It's as quick and as easy as just watching a video and taking a quiz. And thanks to Countrywide Concealed, Your family is that much safer no matter where you go. Getting a concealed carry license has literally never been easier. Click on that link below and join the millions of patriots who've taken back their rights with Countrywide Concealed today. Scholars are noticing a profound trend among secular liberals. They're indeed disappearing precisely because they've stopped having babies. In other words, there's an inextricable link between the advent of what we call alternative lifestyles, right, or lifestyle values, and the implosion of reproductive function. This was precisely the conclusion of University of London scholar Eric Kaufmann. He argued recently that liberal values undermine procreation precisely because liberal values undermine the traditional family. Liberalism redefines children as nothing more than a lifestyle choice. And you can't redefine having children as a mere lifestyle choice and expect your society to continue to repopulate. It's what Kaufmann calls the soft underbelly of liberalism. In other words, secular liberalism entails its own demographic contradiction. Liberalism necessitates the freedom not to reproduce. And so as it turns out, secular liberalism is an inherently feudal belief system that by its nature undermines civilization, or at the very least, its own attempt at one. By contrast, and this is key, by contrast, conservatives, particularly conservative religionists, are having more children than ever, especially when you factor in child mortality rates. So, for example, in 2010, the average number of children born to leftist liberals in the U.S. was about 1.8. However, the average number of children born to what demographers refer to as the far right was 3. Now, again, this pattern holds throughout the United States and Europe, Canada. On average, conservatives have a fertility advantage over liberals of about 40%, but it's even more dramatic when you compare conservative religionists with atheists or agnostics. For every 1 child born to the irreligious, 2 are born to the religious. And so Kaufmann and others have been predicting that by 2030, the culture wars were going to decisively tip in the direction of the conservatives, precisely because they're demographically growing, all the while secular liberals are demographically shrinking. And that's exactly what we're seeing. And if the Gallup poll is reflective of these very trends, we won't have to wait until 2030. That demographic and political revolution is happening right now. Hey, gang, I know what it's like to feel alone out there in these turbulent times, but I broke free. If you too have been looking for a community with like-minded patriots who are serious about resisting globalism, building a parallel economy, and having intelligent and deep fellowship on a regular basis, then you've come to the right place. In my Courageous Patriot Insiders community, we're building a close-knit movement of, by, and for patriots who are breaking free from the outrage and despair cycles of the mainstream media and taking on the fight against globalism. Every week, I deep dive into the content I can't share on big tech and give you the cliff notes on the truth of how patriots just like you are building up their communities, starting patriot businesses, and fighting the woke in both public and private. All with a few history and political lessons from yours truly, of course. If you want to stop feeling alone as a patriot and stand together with this fast-growing community, be sure to click on the link in the description below. Don't wait. Join me and my Patriot Coalition today, and let's get fighting.